That's perfect. We're not going to break this out right now. All right. We are live and ready to go. We'll give everybody a couple minutes just to get in. Give a few minutes just to get in, and we'll be ready to go. Just had to get out of sports mode and into blackjack mode. So we're good to go. You know what? I could even sit for this one. All right, welcome to the party, everybody. Come on in, come on in. We'll give them 5 minutes. We'll give them 5 minutes because I know a lot of some people are getting home from work. Yeah, that's perfect, baby. That's perfect. When we need to go, we go. Ready to do some damage. Ready to do some damage. Perfect time. Come on in. Come on in. People are still coming in. And kitchen casino. Yep, this is the kitchen casino this time. I need a flat table. And upstairs, there's printers and all that stuff. But here gives me a little more room. No, this isn't the rummy class, Jeff. But hopefully you picked something up out of this. Neil, welcome. Mark, welcome to the party. Art, William King, forgive me. Time to go. I'll just put them there. Thank you. Perfect. Mark, all set to go. William, it's Christmas Day, brother. It's Christmas Day. Like I said, when you're done this course, you will be the favorite against the casino. You're going to know which games to play. And the only thing you're going to need to do is practice, practice, practice. Because I could teach you how to do it, but you're going to have to learn how to do it under all circumstances. Because remember, casinos are there to make sure you're distracted. That's why there's noise. That's why there's no windows. That's why there's no clocks. That's why we play with chips instead of cash. Because no one cares about cash. I mean, chips, they feel like it's funny money. It's fake. But if you're having to pull cash out of hand and keep putting it down, rest assured, it gets a lot harder to do. It gets a lot harder to do than just throwing chips. That's the whole psychology behind the chips. So let's get everybody in here. We'll wait just one more minute, and that's it. We're going to get going because there's a lot to get to. And remember, I'm going to break it down into multiple classes because we're going to have to get through different levels to get to the end. I have it set up just the way I learned it, which helped me grasp it quickly. But like I said, I had a passion for it. So I just continued practicing. That's all I did. I used to pull up behind cars and their license plate, and I would count it down. Like if I saw 329, I was like +2. Right away. Like that was, it's just everything I did was count until it became second nature where it didn't matter. The cocktail waitress could be talking, a game I had bet could be on the screen, the pit bulls could be asking me a question, the dealers could be changing shifts. It didn't matter. None of that mattered. You're going to have to get to that level because you're never ever going to want to lose your count. If you lose your count, you're going to have to pull out of the game, make an excuse. We'll get to that later. Don't worry about that. Let's just get ready to go. And I can see all your comments. So if anybody needs a pause, if anybody needs me to repeat anything, that is no problem at all. That's no problem at all. All right. Let me grab a glass of water and then we're good to go. The fun will come when we start counting. But you got to get through this. And some of this is going to be the tedious part. Yeah. It was. Real quickly, I'll get that story out of the way. You never want this to happen to you. So while we're waiting for them, here's what happened. I used to play at Red Rock a lot because one of the guys that I met from being a subscriber ended up being a real high roller. Make a long story short, he invited me to go meet him. I went and met him. He invited me to go watch UFC with him at the MGM. So I said, sure, absolutely. Comes to town. I go meet him at the Red Rock. He's up at the top floor in a penthouse. I'm like, okay, he must have a high credit limit or play big money. Make a long story short, we get into the Red Rock limo. It takes us down to the MGM. We're sitting in the second row. I swear to you, behind me was Paris Hilton, like a couple seats down. Like this dude had better seats than Paris Hilton. And the reason was simple. He had the highest credit limit, the second highest credit limit. Let me correct myself. Second highest credit limit at the Red Rock. Okay. So he could ask for $500,000 and they would give it to him. In fact, when he came for the 4-day weekend, they would reserve a table. Like a dealer would sit at the table, and when we went down to play, that dealer would work. If my man wasn't playing, then it didn't matter. The dealer was just there waiting. The table was waiting. And it happens all the time. You'll see that at all the casinos. You'll go into any high limit pit, go to the Wynn, go to the mansions at MGM, and you'll see there'll be an empty table with a dealer there. And you'll be like, why can't nobody sit there? It's because one of their high credit limit guys is there for the weekend. And when he decides he wants to play, they want to have an empty table for him. Those guys don't play with anybody next to them. They play one-on-one with the dealer. They don't want an audience. Anyway, so we watch the UFC. He says, hey, you want to come back to the Red Rock? We'll have a drink. I'm going to play some blackjack. I said, you play blackjack? Yeah, I play blackjack. He said, how about you? I said, yeah, funny story. I said, I actually was working with a card counting group. I said, back in the day in Philadelphia, I said, we kind of put some little thing together that we learned through sports betting. One of the guys that ran the group was an advantage player. So he taught us some things. We tried putting it together. We went down to Atlantic City, made some money, lost some money because I hadn't learned it in depth at that time. Anyway, by the time I met this guy, I had been here in Vegas already 7-8 years. I had studied it more than you could ever imagine. I had dove into it. I had played. I was a good advantage player by that time. Not as good as I am now, but I was dangerous enough. So I said, he said, what does that mean? I said, I just know when to bet big. He's like, what are you talking about? I said, well, you get your advantage in blackjack. Most of the hands, you're not going to have the edge. The house is going to have the edge. That's obvious. But there are times when you, the player, has the advantage based on the deck composition. And he said, so what do you do? I said, that's when you unload. He said, so can you tell me when to unload? I said, absolutely. How do you want to do it? He said, you just tell me. I said, we can't do that. They're going to throw you out. I said, so here, I'll tell you what. I'll grab this water bottle. Depending on where I put it on my square, that means 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x what you're going to bet. And if I put it in the middle, you're betting 5x. You're betting 5x. Okay? At that time, he needed really to go 1x to 10x, but he was playing like $1,000 a hand, then $5,000 a hand. So I was like, dude, I wasn't comfortable having this guy playing like $20,000 a hand yet. So to make a long story short, I had him playing, and he ended up winning money, and he was like, dude, this is amazing. So he started coming in back and forth, and we were playing, and I was helping him win money that he had lost over the years. Like he lost like $2 million the year prior. I played with him at the Wynn. I played with him at Red Rock. So anyway, at Red Rock, if you're playing in the high limit pit, they have a masseuse. And they have in poker rooms, they have walking around the casino, a masseuse that massages you for $2 a minute. In the high limit pit, it's free. So the house pays her. If you want to tip her, you can tip her, but the house pays her. So anyway, we're up like 27 dimes. Up like 27,000. It wasn't the best day, but it was a good day. We had been there all day, all evening. And I'm like, dude, I want to get a massage before we go back up to the room. So everybody's like, dude, come on, Ace, let's go back. Like, it's good. We won 27 dimes. Let's go chop it up. We start again tomorrow. I'm like, dude, I want a massage. And across from me, who's getting a massage? The guy from ESPN that does the horses. You guys know that? Well, never could remember his name. He's the guy that does like the Kentucky Derby, the Breeders' Cup. He's the chubby guy with glasses that gives out his picks for the races. Anyway, he only plays flat bets. He bets 100 a hand. Flat bets, flat bets, flat bets. Bro, this guy would not let this masseuse leave. Like, I'm telling you, like, we stopped playing for like 20 minutes. I'm like, he's got to stop. Like, you know what I mean? Nope, my man's going. He had already gone like an hour. Had the girl there for like over an hour. No lie. Anyway, another 30 minutes go by. I get bored. I'm like, let's play. While we're sitting here, we might as well earn. I swear to you, not only did we lose back that 27,000, but on top of it, probably another like 18 to 20 dimes waiting for this masseuse. So it was like a 40, almost a 50 dime swing in the negative direction because I was waiting for that dude. No, not Eddie Olsen. He's been there forever. Everybody knows him. It's the chubby dude with the glasses. He's been doing it for 20, 30 years. And he's at the Red Rock. He flat bets. I'm telling you, $100 a hand, $100 a hand. So, dude, everybody was so mad at me. Like, they were so pissed. They were so mad that I had them waiting there like over an hour, hour and a half. I did get the massage, to make a long story short. Like, she finally did come over. Nobody wanted to play no more. We go back to the room. Everybody's pissed. I'm like, dude, it could have went the other way. Like, we could have picked up another 20 dimes. You know, I'm making excuses, but we probably should have left. We shouldn't have kept playing because everybody was out of the zone. You know what I mean? But anyway, moral to the story, don't wait for the masseuse. And more importantly, when you decide to go and you're up, go. And if you stay, do not gamble. You could stay in the casino if you have self-control, but whatever you do, do not. Hank Goldberg. There you go, Edward. There you go, brother. Hank Goldberg. That's exactly the dude. I swear on my mother, that is the guy. He was there. He's there all the time. Plays $100 a hand. He just flat bets. Never increases his bet because it's $100 minimum in the high limit at Red Rock. And I swear to you, we lost back like the 27 dimes that we were up, and at least another 18 to 20,000 on top of that. Just didn't come. But again, it was a winning trip. And by the end of the trip, it was a winning trip. The most we were ever down, and I'm not going to go into stories. One time, I swear to you, within the first 30 minutes, because when we played with this guy, it was once he started learning it, he was playing chocolates. They're $5,000 chips. My man was spreading five. I told him, you want to make money, we got to go 1x to 10x for double day. My man was spreading 5,000 to 50,000 a hand, 5 to 50. And he flies in on the Saturday. We go to play at like 10 in the morning. I swear to you, by 11:15, my man was down like 72 dimes, almost $80,000 all in. Like immediately. Like bags are still at the high limit. Like he didn't even have the bellman take him up to the room or nothing. Like he just wanted to play as soon as he got there. Anyway, we went and had lunch and I was like, dude, you know, that's how it could go and stuff. But even though they've seen it, like if you're not the one that's counting and doing it, like for the other people that are the bank, like they get a little nervous. Like they still don't believe it because you're not going to see through the card. You're just using math. But let's get this going. Everybody's here. We're about 10 minutes, 12 minutes in. So hopefully everyone's here. All right. Now start from the beginning. Hope you guys have your notebook. A lot of this you will be able to, just hear and remember. You won't have to write everything down, but there are some things I think you do need to write down because what I'm going to give you is a high level breakdown of stuff you're not going to find in any book and even most of the courses you'll go take. Like I said, I paid 5 dimes and a lot of the stuff I'm going to show you was not shown to me, was not taught to me because most people don't want to give up their edge. Everybody has a little secret. They don't want to give it up. I get it. But I learned enough in those courses. It wasn't a waste in that course. It wasn't a waste. So I could see all your questions. I could see all your comments. So don't worry about that. If you could fire away, if you have anything to ask, don't be shy. There's no stupid question. I'm going to take this as if most of you don't know the game all that well. Okay. There's no disrespect. What I do want to ask first and foremost, is there anyone here that hasn't played blackjack? Or doesn't know the game, like doesn't understand how the game is played, what the rules are. Again, rules are going to change. Okay, that's not a problem. That's not a problem, brother. We're going to start from the beginning. Okay? Now, the reason blackjack is beatable, okay? It's the only game in the house, in the whole casino, that's actually mathematically beatable. With sports, there's a different story. Because again, if you could get information that beats the closing number, your mathematical certainty to turn a profit, but that's not something anybody can do. Okay, that's a different animal. I'm talking about the casino floor. Slots, craps, roulette, baccarat, all those kind of table games, as we call them, okay? Not poker, not sports, table games. It's the only table game that's beatable. And the reason for that is it's the only table game that has memory, right? Unlike roulette, every time they spin the roulette wheel, it's random, regardless of what happened last. So it could be, that's why they have those little charts when you walk through a casino, and they have it next to the roulette wheel, and they show you the last 20 rolls. The reason they do that is because they want you to see a pattern that doesn't even exist, but they want a gambler in that mentality to see a pattern and bet that pattern. So they may see, oh, wait, there's 8 greens in a row. What are the chances of the 9th green happening? Well, it's the exact same odds as the one before and the one after, because each roll is independent of the previous roll. The roulette wheel doesn't have memory unless it's broken. And that's the reason they go and they check roulette wheels all the time, because they want to make sure, just like the wheel on a car, the more you spin it, the more you drive it, it becomes unaligned, right? And you have to go, you got to take your car to the shop, and you got to get your wheels aligned, because after you spin it enough time, it comes off its axis. It's not perfectly balanced anymore. Roulette wheels do the same thing. There have been groups that have they move into a casino, they clock a wheels, they sit there all day, they clock wheels, and try to identify a wheel that's unbalanced. It's very, very hard to do. You know, they take back all the results back to a computer, plug it in the computer, and the computer lets them know whether there's randomness or whether this wheel's unaligned and the ball's falling in this quadrant. There are teams that do that. Again, it's very rare, and casinos are so far ahead of it that they have guys that go out there and obviously make sure the wheels are aligned. Craps, every roll is independent of the last roll. Whether you roll a 7, the next roll is the same odds of you throwing a 7, same odds you throwing an 8, a 9, a 10. That never changes, regardless of what you threw last. Baccarat, same thing. Slots, same thing. Slots they take in $1, they piss out 99 cents. They take in $1, they piss out 98 cents, depending on how tight the machines are. They're already pre-programmed to do that. The reason Blackjack has memory is because every card that comes out of the deck changes the composition of the deck the dealer's holding. For example, I'm holding a single deck. The first 4 hands I deal out, 4 aces come out. Ace to C1, ace to C2, ace to C3, ace to C4. We play this hand. Now we're on to the next hand. What are the chances someone's going to get blackjack the rest of the game? 0, right? Because all 4 aces are gone. No other game has that type of memory. That's the difference between blackjack and every other game, okay? Blackjack has memory. So depending on what's gone and what's left, the odds shift. That's what makes blackjack beatable, okay? Now, what you got to remember is you have to keep this in mind. You have to let go of all hunches, all superstitions. None of that matters, okay? You got to, if you're going to beat this game, you have to let go of all of that. There's no such thing as a good player, a bad player, good luck, bad luck. None of that's going to make a difference to you. What somebody does next to you is irrelevant to you. You're going to play enough hands that those decisions are going to balance out. Whether someone next to you is playing right or not doesn't matter to you. You will remember those hands where, oh, that idiot should have hit, or he should have stayed, and he didn't, and he busted up the whole table. We all have those stories. But I promise you, as an advantage blackjack player, you will play enough hands that none of that matters. Those are going to balance out. And more importantly, as an advantage blackjack player, you're not going to want to play at crowded tables. So it's going to happen to you less and less. You'll see when we get into counting why you're going to want to play as often as possible one-on-one with the dealer. And the only reason for that is not because you're worried about other players making mistakes, but because you want to get in as many hands as possible and other people slow down the game. And also, you don't want other players eating up cards, okay? When the count's high, You don't want 3 other players at the table that are taking those cards. That's going to bring the count down low quickly. If you're playing one-on-one with the dealer, the chance, now I'm out pumping people are thinking, wait, the dealer could get it too. That's true. That's true. But I'm going to explain as we go why blackjack is beatable and why counting works. Let's get that out of the way first, why counting works, and you'll understand the game of blackjack. There's 4 reasons actually why counting works. 1, the game has memory, okay? The game has memory. 2, we get 3 to 2 for our blackjacks. The dealer doesn't. So when we get an ace and a king, a 10 and an ace, a queen and an ace, we hit blackjack, we get paid 3 to 2 on our money. That's rule number 2. The reason why it becomes why it's beatable. Number 3 reason, we're allowed to double down and we're allowed to split. So when we see advantageous situations, we can split and we can double down. And number 4, the dealer has to hit his stick. Meaning, if the dealer has less than 17, they have to take a card. We don't have to. I'll repeat the 4 reasons blackjack is beatable with card counting. 1, the game has memory. 2, we get paid 3 to 2 for our blackjacks. 3, we're allowed to double down and split. And 4, the dealer must hit their sticks, unlike us. Now, real quickly, we're going to go over the basic rules, okay? I might as well deal it out for you guys so you see. Blackjack's it's a very simple game. Rules change from casino to casino. We're going to go over that actually in this class, this course, what kind of rules we want to play with, okay? That are most advantageous to us. All right? So, a simple game of blackjack. I'll grab a deck that I've already shuffled. Let me see. All right. Simple, simple, simple. Let me just put this in my shuffler, actually. This just makes it so much quicker to shuffle your deck. Now, simple blackjack. Your dealer's going to deal. We call this first base. That's it. The player to the first, to the left of the dealer is first base. The last player to the right of the dealer is third base. So that's what you're going to remember. First base, third base. And then obviously there's going to be 3 in the middle. Okay. Sometimes there's actually 7 hands, the most that house will have. Because now you can't play really single deck anymore. So it's going to be 7 positions that they could deal up to. You're never going to be playing in a table with 7 players. That much I promise you. You never want to do that. You never want to have more than 1 or 2 other players actually when you get into card counting. But we'll talk about that in card counting. Simple. I'll show you how it's dealt. Dealer deals to player 1, player 2, player 3, takes a down card, deals, and shows his up card, right? Now, they used to have to peek, okay? They used to have to peek because they needed to see if they had a 10 showing or an ace showing, they had to check for a blackjack. They no longer have to do that. They no longer have to do that. Now they have mirrors under there. And the reason for that was because there were real smart people that would position someone behind the dealer at a different table. And his job was to find a weak dealer, a soft dealer, that lifts up his card a little higher than he should, that isn't peeking the right way. And then he'd signal the player, and they would know whether he has blackjack or whether he has a stiff under there. So they got away with that by putting a little device right here that's a mirror, and they're able to see the reflection, okay? There it is, +2. Love it. Love it. Yeah, just like in casino. Exactly. Just like in the movie Casino, where that's what they were doing. It's exactly what they were doing. They found a soft dealer. There's still advantage plays that you could get away with soft dealers, but they frown on that like cheating. You won't have to do that. I'll teach you a couple of those. I will teach you a few other advantage plays other than just counting. It's on you whether you want to really practice them and perfect them and try to get away with them, okay? They frown on those a little bit more as cheating because you're not, like you are and you're not. It's a gray line, meaning if the dealer is showing you their bottom card, is that really cheating if they flash it by accident? We'll get to that later. So the money or the hammer, yeah, that's it. That's exactly what happened, John, the money or the hammer. Just like in the movie Casino, you could take the money or the hammer. You can't have both, okay? So you have four options, and that's it. Now, this is the order that I want you guys to make your decisions. Write this down. This is the order of the decisions you're going to make. You have 4 decisions you could possibly make, okay? 1, surrender, okay? That's a rule that not enough blackjack players know about. In 6 deck, a lot, you don't need to see the cards. The cards become irrelevant right now. We're not counting anything. When we count, trust me, if the camera will be down on the table the whole time once we learn how to count. This is simply to set the foundation. You need to know this before we get into counting. This is not this first class, you are not going to learn to count because you're going to have to master the skill I send you home with, and then you could learn to count. Until you master this skill you're going to learn today, which is very simple, but it's going to take some work from you, the counting is next. So this is to build the foundation. But as a player, you have 4 decisions to make. This is it. Write these 4 decisions to make. And these are the order you need to make these decisions in. First, surrender. We'll talk about what that is as we move on. Surrender is available only in 6 deck and in not all the casinos. What surrender simply means is, right now you see how I'm the dealer, I have a face card showing. That's bad for the player, okay? That's terrible for the player, all right? So if I'm sitting on a 15 or a 16, I'm allowed to surrender. You could do it any bet. With any 2 cards, you could surrender half your bet, and you only lose half your bet. Your game's over. Like even this is 3 and 2. This 5, if I don't like it, I could surrender. But only after I get dealt the first 2 cards. You can't get another card and then say surrender. Once the first 2 cards are dealt, you have the option to surrender in 6 deck. In fact, when you sit down and play 6 deck, that's the first question you're going to ask. Hey, do you guys offer surrender? They're going to say yes or no. Most players don't even know to ask that question. It's very advantageous for you. And as a card counter, it's super advantageous for you because you're going to know based on the count what the probability is that the card under here is actually a face card and that you're looking at a dealer 20, all right? And you're going to want to surrender half your bet. If you're sitting on a 15, a 16, you're going to want to surrender half your bet because the probability is you're going to lose all of it, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is, am I surrendering, okay? That's the first thing, and we're going to get to that. We're going to get to when you surrender. But that's the order of decisions you're going to make. Number 1, surrender, all right? Number 2, if I'm dealt a pair, that means if I have 2 of the same card, 2 3s, 2 4s, 2 5s, 2 6s, 2 7s, 2 8s, 2 9s, 2 queens, 2 kings, 2 10s, am I splitting? You're going to learn that as well, but that's the second option you're going to have. So you're going to go down your list of 4. Surrender, am I surrendering? Am I splitting or not? And the only time you're going to make that decision is if you have 2 of the same card, okay? Third, double down. Do I have a hand that warrants a double down? You're going to learn that too. That's the third question you're going to ask yourself. This all has to happen quickly, all right? You're going to have to look at your first 2 cards and know immediately, am I surrendering? Am I splitting? Am I doubling down? And then the 4th option and final option is, do I hit or do I stand? Those are the same because you're hitting or you're standing. And you know the symbol for that. If you hit the felt. If you stand, you just wave your hand. Remember, in double deck, you're allowed to touch the cards. So if you're playing double deck, they deal you the cards face down. You're allowed to pick them up and hold and look at them, okay? in some casinos, not in all casinos. So you want to make sure you can hold them. In a lot of places, they let you hold them. You can't like hide them and stuff like that, but you're able to touch them in some casinos. Now, in 6-deck, you can't touch the cards at all. You don't ever touch the cards. You simply signal. And when it comes to you, if you have two of the same card, you're going to say split. If you have two of the same, if you have a double down situation, you're going to say double down. And you simply do that by putting out the same amount of chips. So let's say you have $50 out on your bet. You get dealt 2 9s. You want to split them. You simply put another $50 up, and the dealer's going to know you're splitting 9s. If you have a 9 and a 2 on 11, you have $100 on your bet. You take another 100, you put it up next to your bet. The dealer's going to look at you and say double. You're going to say yes, because they're going to know this is what you're trying to do. You want to double. So those are the only decisions you really have to make. That's why this game is very beatable. All right. So you're going to look to see, am I surrendering only in 6-deck? Am I splitting only if your 2 cards are the same? Am I doubling? That means, am I putting double the amount of money to see 1 more card? And you're only going to do that. I'm going to teach you when you're going to do that. Primarily on if you have a 9, a 10, or an 11, a combination of 9, 10, or 11. That's when you're going to be doubling down. 9, 10s, and 11s. Okay, primarily. Until you learn to count. Then there's some other times you're going to double down. That's a different story. But again, let's not get ahead of ourselves. And finally, do I hit or do I stand? That's it. That's all you have to do. And you simply do that by hitting the felt, means hit. Waving means stand. That's it. You don't have to touch the cards. The dealer does everything for you. Everything else he does for you. Now, you want to be paying attention to everyone's hand, because soon you're going to start counting everyone's hand. Okay, so even now, even though you're not learning to count yet, you want to be paying attention what's happening at the table. That's the number one thing. Your eyes have to be, here's the key. The better you are at not staring at everyone's cards, the better you're going to be at getting away with counting. If you could just glance over and then look up at the TV, talk to your girl next to you, act like you're not paying attention, the better you're going to be able to get away with counting. If you have to sit there and look over everyone's hand like this, I promise you, you won't last long. So that's why already get in the habit of scanning what we call scanning the table. You want to scan the table, okay? You want to pay attention to what everyone has and what everyone's doing. You always want to be paying attention to the game, no matter what's going on, no matter how much money you have on the football game that's in front of you, and it's in the last 2 minutes, and it's deciding whether you're going to cover or not. You got to focus on the game. It goes very fast. Blackjack is a very fast game. And as a counter, you're going to want the fastest dealers. So you're going to want to get so good at it that you're going to want fast dealers. In the beginning, you're going to want slow dealers. When you learn to count, you're going to want slow dealers. And that's going to help you a lot, especially in the beginning. So that's all Blackjack is. That's all it is. And the simple rule is this. You have to beat the dealer's hand without busting, without going over 21. That's the key. So you take as many cards as you need to beat the dealer's hand. And more importantly, if you bust, then, obviously you lost your bet. Now, I'll deal you a couple hands so you understand what I'm talking about. We're playing one-on-one right now with the dealer, okay? King 2, I'm showing a face card. Obviously, perfect basic strategy says you're going to hit that. You'd go like this. It's a 10, you bust. You won't even see the dealer's hand. But when you're counting, you're going to want to look. You're going to want to look because the dealer's going to do this quickly. He's going to go like this just to show you his stiff. But when you broke, he's going to do it so quickly because it doesn't matter anymore what he has underneath. Okay, what he has underneath won't matter. So you're going to have to make sure that you're paying attention. That's why I'm saying your focus now has to be on scanning the table. And even after you bust, you need to keep an eye on that dealer because he's going to try to wipe his cards up quickly. You have a right to say, what did you have underneath? Act like you wanted to know. Were you going to bust? Was he going to bust? That's why a lot of times I'll ask them. I'll say, what did you have? What did you have? And I'll be like, damn, you would have busted instead of me. Act like you're a gambler. Remember that. Act like you're a gambler. That's the key. That's how you're going to get away with counting. But right now, again, you don't need to focus on the counting. All right? William, great question. Great question. Is this why it's preferred? John asks, is this why it's preferred to look for tables where there are no other players? The reason I look for tables where there's no other players is because I want a fast game. I want to see as many hands as possible. And that's like placing bets. If you have an edge, you want to place as many bets as possible. That's when you're going to get into the long term, and that's how you're going to turn your profit. Blackjack's the same thing. The beauty with blackjack is if I'm playing one-on-one with a fast dealer, I could get 150 hands in. Sometimes 200. We've gotten 200 hands in an hour. 200 hands. You give me 6 hours, that's 1,200 bets I made. Probability is we're going to get to the long term a lot faster, meaning my edge is going to materialize into profit. Over the course of 10 hands, 20 hands, 100 hands, 200 hands, 500 hands, anything could happen. But over 5,000 hands, 10,000 hands, there's no chance you're not going to be ahead. You're a mathematical certainty to be ahead. So the faster you're able to get those hands in, the faster your true edge is going to show. That's the law of big numbers. In the short term, there's randomness. So your edge, you may have a 1% edge over the house. When I'm done with you, you're going to have at least a 1.5%, 2% edge over the house. That's your edge. That's your edge. You're going to have almost a 2% edge over the house. Some counters are going to tell you, oh, you could get a 3% edge. Listen, there's going to be hands you have a 4% edge, 5% edge. But over the course, you'll have about a 1.5% to 2% edge. So that means every $100 you're betting, you expect to make $1.50 to $2. So the faster you're betting those hundreds, the faster that $1.50 and $2 piles up. That's how you have to look at it. Okay? Now, William asked, do I recommend those blackjack strategy cards? Okay? This is the next thing we're going to talk about. But before we do that, let's get a few things out of the way. All right? I talked about there's no such thing as a bad player. That doesn't matter. Those decisions are going to even out long term. So don't ever let somebody else, what they do, bother you. Don't let it rock you. Don't let it shake you. It's his money, her money. They can do whatever they want. If they want to play stupid and play foolishly, that's their prerogative. It's their money. It's not your money. So don't worry how someone else plays their money. Worry about how you play your money. You can't control how they're going to play their money. So don't let that rock you. If it irritates you, then make sure you play one-on-one. Don't play with other people. I know some people, there's a friend of mine, he just can't shake that. Like, he will pay somebody not to hit it. Like, I swear to you, we would sit at a table and someone went to hit their hand and he's like, please don't hit that. If you lose, I'll pay you what you would have won. Please don't hit that. You can't do that. You can't do that shit. You're just telling the eye in the sky. You're counting. So like with him, I'll never sit at a table where there's somebody else. I'll only sit at a table where it's me and him, because I know he can't handle someone making a big mistake and he's going to give it all away. So that balances out. Next, casinos don't cheat. Okay. They don't need to cheat. They have a built-in edge. There's going to be times where you think you're being cheated because you're going to be like, this is mathematically impossible. How the hell could I have the edge on these last 8 hands and I still lost? Okay. That's the randomness of short term. It's the same way you could flip a quarter and get 5, 6, 7, 8 heads in a row. We know it's 50-50, heads or tails. But if you flip it 8, 9, 10 times, you could get 9 heads, 1 tail. That wouldn't be a fake coin. That doesn't mean the coins you're getting cheated. It means you have to flip it 500 times, 1,000 times. And you're going to get closer to 50-50. That's the law of big numbers. So get that out of your head. Nobody's cheating you. Trust me, they don't have to cheat. They have a built-in edge. There's Nevada gaming. There's gaming in every jurisdiction. Now, some will say now offshore, some of the places, some of the shady countries. I played in Bulgaria. So if you're going to ever get cheated, it's probably going to happen in Bulgaria. Okay, I played there. So I won't put it past some places. But most of you guys aren't going to be playing in the eastern bloc of Europe. You're not going to be playing in the old Soviet Union. You're not going to be playing in parts of China that aren't like resort, you know? So they're not going to cheat you. Don't worry about being cheated, okay? Number 3, chips. Chips are your cash. Don't ever feel like these are your gambling toys. These are here to see. That's your money. The second you get up with those chips and walk to the cage, that's cold hard cash. The reason casinos use chips is so you lose your value of the dollar. Because if you have to keep taking cash out of your pocket and put it on the table, it's a lot harder to do. So they give you chips. Remember, those chips, that's not funny money. It's not fake. That's real cash. That's money. Always treat them like they're money, like it's your money. Even if you're up, don't look at it as house money. There's no such thing as house money. It's yours. It's in your stack. If you piss it away, it's because you were the fool. It's not because, oh, I took a shot with house money. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. House money. It's not the house's money. It's in your stack. All you have to do is get your ass up, walk to the casino cage, and that turns into green bills that you could fold and stick in your pocket. So it's not the house's money. It's your money. So you have to respect it like it's your money. Those chips are not to be played with. You need to look at them like they are cash. There's no difference between the chips and the cash, okay? And finally, stay away from systems. At the casino, if you spend enough time, you're going to hear every freaking system. Believe me, when I tell you, people know I'm in the gambling industry. I've been approached with every system you could ever imagine. 99 out of 100 of them were in 3 seconds, I could pick them apart. Every once in a while, someone came with one that made me pause and think. But then the experience in me realized that not to play systems, not to believe in systems. Okay, one of the worst systems that you're going to hear about in blackjack is martingale, which means double up. So you start with $5. If you lose, you go to $10. If you lose, you go to $20. If you lose, you go to $40. If you lose, you go to $80. If you lose, you go to $160. If you lose, you go to $320. If you lose, you go to $640. If you lose, you go to $1280. If you lose, you go to $25.60. Oh, wait, you can't go to $25.60. Why? Because a $5 table will be capped. So that you can't do that. Okay? Because if you could endlessly double up, then it would become a beatable game. That's why there are limits at the blackjack table. That's why martingale doesn't work. Because a $10 table may have a $2,000 max. So you start with 10, you go to 20, you go to 40, you go to 80. So let's go 10. One for your first hand. 20, 40, 80, 160, 320, 640, 1280. Oops. I can't bet 2,500, right? You know what the chances of losing 8 hands in a row are? Very likely. I know you think it isn't, but it is. There will be times you will lose 8 straight hands. That is going to happen. And that's why do not ever fall for that nonsense. Because here's what happens with martingale players, okay? They win a bunch of small bets because you're always chasing that $10. Even when you're up to that $320 bet, if you win it, you're only up $10. You're doubling up to win that initial bet. That's what the double up is for. So if you're doubling up at 100, you're just trying to win that 100. You're going to 2, 4, 8, 12, 24, 4,800. That's what you're doing, trying to just win that 100. You're going to win a bunch of $100 bills, and then you're going to lose the $4,800 ones eventually. That's just how the math's going to play out. So stay away from any type of systems, any of that martingale situation, okay? Now, the key also, here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to keep records, okay? I know it's tedious, but you will not know you're a winning advantage player unless you keep records. You got to keep records. This is what I bought in with. This is the hours I played. This was my profit or loss. That's it. I'm not asking you to go in there and remember all your hands and which ones you played right, which ones you played wrong. That's not why you're recording your results. You're recording your results so you can see over a big sample size, do I have an edge? Do I have an edge? Because here's what a lot of people don't realize, okay? That when you play, what I'm going to teach you tonight, proper basic strategy, okay? You're going to win 99 out of every 200 hands just by playing proper basic strategy. That's not enough to be profitable. Remember, you got to win over 100 out of 200 hands to be profitable. But you're going to learn proper basic strategy because that is the foundation of everything we're doing, okay? That's why I started with, there's no hunches. There's no, this is what my gut's doing. You are going to play proper basic strategy every single time, okay? When you sit down at a double deck table, if you play proper basic strategy, no card counting at all, no card counting at all. The house edge is about 0.32%. That's what it starts out. And I'm going to explain to you based on the rules, whether their hold is higher or even lower. Okay, there's some high limit games where the hold is 0.2%. Now remember, in sports, we do 4.5%. The house edge in sports is 4.5%. So out of every $100, they expect to make $4.50. All right. In blackjack double deck, your normal double deck games, a fair one, they only have about a 0.3% edge. All right. They're expected to make 30 cents out of every 100. That's true. That's correct. You're like, wait, are you serious? How do they make all this money in blackjack? Because they're dealing 100 to 200 an hour. So that 30 cents adds up. 30 cents adds up. 30 cents keeps adding up. That's what their edge is. On a 6 deck, it's about 0.51. So they got about a 0.5% edge. They expect to make 50 cents out of every 100. If you play proper basic strategy, all right? That's the key. This is what you're going to have to leave here with today. This is what you're going to have to practice this entire week. We can't get to the next level until you learn proper basic strategy. Now, here's what I'm talking about, proper basic strategy. All right. You see that's for the dealer card. That's for the double deck. That's a double deck. Dealer stands on soft 17. Okay? That's the best game you can find. If the dealer, that's high limit. Very few non-high limit tables will allow that. On almost every regular table, the dealer hits his 17. Okay? Why do they hit their 17? Because that adds an extra 0.2% edge to the house. Why? Because if they have to stand on 17, they can't improve, right? But if they hit their soft 17, which is an ace and a 6, which is a soft hand, they can improve. They could get 18, they could get 19, they could get 20, they could get 21. But if they're forced to stand on 17, that eliminates that possibility. So this is the very best game you can find. Double deck game where the dealer's standing on 17, okay? And obviously you could double it after your split. You could resplit aces. If you could surrender, that adds even edge. But double deck, don't even think about that. You won't be able to, okay? Now, this is proper basic for double deck when they hit their soft 17. Soft 17 means when the dealer has an ace and a 6. That's all it means. Because remember, anything less than 17, dealer's always going to pull a card. At 17, they have to stop. 17 or higher, the dealer stops. They can't take another card. So if the dealer has 17, we have 18, we know we won, right? We don't have to even think about it. Dealer has 18, we have 19, we won. It's over. They can't take another card and try to beat us. Dealer has to hit all the way up to 17, and he stops at 17 or higher. Now, A6 is a soft 17. That's the difference. Some games, they hit soft 17, which is the majority of games. The majority, because like I said, it adds 0.2% to their edge. So what did I say? Double deck, standard double deck has a 0.3% edge. You add that 0.2 when they hit soft 17, and now all of a sudden, that edge becomes 0.50. Now they're making 50 cents out of every 100, not 30 cents. When they add it to 6 deck, remember I told you 6 deck has a 0.51 edge, just basic 6 deck. If they're able to hit soft 17, now it's no longer 0.5, it's 0.7. Now they're making 70 cents on every 100. The rules are going to add or take away from the house edge. The rules that are advantageous to the player are double after split. You want to make sure you could double after you split. So let's say I get 2 8s. I want to split my 8s, okay? On the first one, he hits me. The dealer's showing a 5. I have 2 8s. I want to split them. The dealer gives me a 3 on top of my 8. I have 11, right? I want to be able to double that. There's some casinos that will not allow you to double after a split. Why? Because that adds a 0.13% edge to the player. So remember what I said. Regular double deck, 0.32% edge for the house. Now, what about if I'm able to double after my split? That comes 1.3% my way. So now I brought the house edge down below 0.2%. Now, off me, they're not even making 20 cents on every 100. They're making 19 cents on every 100. Okay? Just by playing perfect basic strategy, just by following this card, you're going to have to learn this card. You're going to have to learn this card. It is not difficult. It's very easy. Okay? It's not any kind of science. It's not anybody could learn it. And once you learn it once, you know it forever. You will never, ever, until you learn to count, you will never do anything but what's on that card. Okay? Now, when you look at the soft 17 or stand on soft 17 for the dealer, you'll see almost every playing decision is the same. There may be 1 or 2 deviations. That's it. That's why don't go crazy about learning all 4 cards. For hit soft 17, stand on soft 17 for double deck, that's 2 cards. And then for 6 deck, as you see, this is for 4. This is for multiple decks from 4 to 6. There's not really any 4 deck games anymore. This is for 6 decks where the dealer hits soft 17. This is where dealer stands on soft 17. So if you want to get crazy like I did, I memorized all 4. So doing the right thing on double deck, hit soft 17, stand soft 17, 6 deck, hit soft 17, stand soft 17. Like I said, when you put them together, it's a simple Google search. It's a simple Google search. Perfect basic strategy for double deck. Perfect basic strategy for double deck. Perfect basic strategy for 6 deck. Or right here, take this one. These are the best ones, the ones that I'm showing you right now. If you could take a quick picture of it, this is the best you can have right here. This is perfect for you. This is the hit soft 17. If you want to take a picture of that. And like I said, what do you see? Very few changes. Almost no difference except what he's up here with an 11, whether you double or whether you hit it against the 11. That's pretty much one of the few things. And on some of the splits, double downs, like very few differences. I recommend if you want to just learn one, learn the hit soft 17. Learn the hit soft 17. That's going to be the majority of your games. Okay. I urge you to play double deck. That's the smallest house edge and the least variance. Because when I teach you to play how to count, you'll see it's easier with 2 decks than 6 decks. And the reason for that is having to try to anticipate how many cards have passed already. With double deck, you know he's only holding 2 decks. With 6, there's going to be 6 decks in this shoe, as you guys will see when we start dealing it, when we start counting. Okay? Now. Okay. Gabriel asks, how do you know if a game is at the beginning of the shoe? In 6 deck, you'll be able to see it here. You'll be able to see it on the shoe. Because they'll have cards in the discard tray. Because after I deal, when I scoop them up as the dealer, they put them in the discard tray. Boom. That's it. So you'll be able to see in the discard tray. Can you close that, Shay baby? You'll be able to see in the discard tray, thank you, that hands have been played. So that's how you're going to look. You're going to look at the discard tray and know immediately where they are. And also at the beginning of every new shoe, they shuffle. So if you see a dealer shuffling, that means they're about to start a new shoe. If they're already dealing, it's already started the shoe. And in double deck, you're not allowed to jump in. In most places, you can't jump in because they want to avoid a counter. Because what a counter could do is you could just sit behind, and when the count's advantageous, jump in and place a bet. Okay? I'm going to teach you that later because you will be doing that. Because in 6 decks, you can do that. You could jump in anytime. The problem is you're jumping in where there's other players. But if you could find 6 deck tables where there's 1 player, maybe 2 players, you could just stand behind it and wait for the advantageous counts and jump in. You can't do it too often, obviously, because you're going to say, wait, this guy only bets a few times, and every time it's when the count's in his favor. So you don't want that, obviously. That's later for counting. This is number 1. This is number 1. You have to learn perfect basic strategy. This proper basic is key to everything. It's the key to counting. It's the key to beating the game. If you just do this, do nothing else but proper basic strategy, no hunch. I know everybody thinks they know blackjack and they play it the right way. I promise you, when you look at this card, you'll be like, oh, wait, I shouldn't double that. Oh, ace 4 against, oh man, that is a double. Oh, ace 5 against, that is in the double. So you got it. You want to know every proper basic move. And the way that I taught myself is I broke it down in the pieces. First, I learned what to do with hard hands, meaning when I get dealt, well, yeah, you're going to hit anything below a 10, obviously, right? If you got anything lower than 10, so if you get dealt 5 and a 3, you're hitting it. If you get hit 5 and 4, you're hitting it. If you get hit 6 and 3, you're hitting it. You're not staying at anything below. Let me turn this. Sorry, guys. If you're not, lift that up, baby. Sorry. You're not cutting. Sorry. You're not, turn that this way. Perfect. Now focus it. You're not going to be hitting, forgive me, everything below a 10. Everything lower than a 10, you're going to be hitting. So that part's easy. What you first want to focus on is this square here. And that's when I get dealt an 11, when I get a 12, a 13, a 14, a 15, a 16, a 17, an 18. What do I do? What do I do? Obviously, you're going to know easily 17 or higher, I'm standing. You ain't hitting anything 17 or higher. Okay? So what you have to learn is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. What am I doing with 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16? You got to go this way. Perfect. Perfect. Am I hitting them or am I standing? That's the first thing you have to learn. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And you're either going to hit it or you're going to double it. And it's all going to be based on what the dealer card is. Okay? That's what these. Okay. What do you mean by the formula, Art? You're asked about what do you mean by the formula? I urge you to learn proper basic and focus on the hits off 17. The hits off 17. Those are the ones that you want to focus on. This is the best one. This is the stand. What we want to go to is the hits off 17s, like this one. This is the card you want to focus on. If you're going to be playing 6 deck, this is the one you really want to focus on. And again, if you want to take a picture of this, take a picture of this, because this is going to have to become like you will have to learn this. Before we can move on to counting, you will have to learn this to where it becomes effortless, where you know every hand I'm dealt. 2 5s, what do I do with them? 2 4s, what do I do with them? 2 3s, what do I do with them? And it's all going to be based on what the dealer is showing. And what is proper basic strategy? It's the best decision based on what the dealer has and what you're holding. It doesn't account for cards in the discard tray rack or cards that haven't been dealt yet. Okay? So this is key. You have to understand basic and you have to learn it and never deviate from it until later when we count. That's why you have to learn this. And this will get you 99 out of 200 hands. You will win 99 out of 200 hands. That's what the average is. So you'll be close to break even just by doing this. And with comps, if you're not an advantage player, if you're not counting cards, this is why everyone that goes to the casino and wants to gamble for fun and wants to gamble for comps should be playing blackjack. Because a lot of times your comps will even cover some of that edge. Where I know guys that they don't want it, they don't count. They play proper basic, they play for big enough money that where they get huge comps and it covers the losses that they make. Now, we don't want to do that. We're doing it for profit. We're not doing it to break even. We're doing it for profit. But you have to learn proper basic strategy. You got to learn it without errors, without any mistakes. That's the key, okay? Now, while you're doing this, here's what you got to remember. Until we get into counting, I'm going to give you a couple rules that are simple, okay? You're never going to insure. You're never going to buy insurance, okay? When you get a black ace, when the dealer's showing an ace, you're able to buy insurance, which means if I have a $100 bet up, and the dealer's showing an ace, and I think he has blackjack, I can simply say, I want insurance, and I'm insuring that he has blackjack. So I put up half my bet. If the dealer has a blackjack, I get my bet back. If he doesn't have blackjack, then they take my insurance bet. If you're not counting, you're never going to use insurance. So don't even consider that. Under basic strategy, you are simply playing this exactly like this. You're not deviating from it at all. Yes, you will see some differences. That's that. You will see some differences as far as if you have a 2 or 3 showing. Yeah, like Bruno says, do you hit a 12? Do you hit a 13? Okay. I've learned the difference mostly is between 6 deck and double deck with that question. Like with double deck, I'm always going to hit my 12 against a 2 unless it counts a certain number. I'm always going to hit my 13 against a 2 unless it counts a certain number. You'll see when we get to counting. But you want to make sure, you guys really want to make sure you get to these. This is double deck, hits a soft 17. Double deck hits a soft 17. This is key. This is, you got to get this. It's not really that hard. It really isn't. Like I said, the way I learned it was I first focused on what do I do with a 12, 13, 14, 15, 16? Because I know from 17 and higher, I'm not doing anything, right? What am I doing on the 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16? Am I hitting or am I standing based on what the dealer has? And then I learned on my splits, my cards that were the same. 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9, 10, 10s. What do I do with those? And then the soft hands. Those are a little more you're going to have to learn, which is ace 2, ace 3, ace 4, ace 5, ace 6, ace 7, ace 8, ace 9, ace 10. Well, ace 10, yeah, blackjack, you don't have to do anything. But, so remember the rule. You're never going to insure anything under proper basic. Okay? And you're going to want to learn this like it's like this is what will determine your success in counting cards later. Because once I teach you to count cards, I will then also teach you when to deviate from this strategy. That's what's going to make you the most powerful. Okay? Most card counters, they count cards, and what they care about is the count telling them how big to bet. I'm going to teach you not just how big to bet, but I'm also going to teach you when to deviate from basic strategy. That's the key. That's when you get all the gains, when knowing when to break the rules. Okay? But that's down the road. Right now, I need you to memorize these cards, to learn them better than anything else. And the way I did it, the best way to do it, honestly, is flashcards. Flashcards was by far the easiest way to do it, other than dealing to yourself. I mean, dealing to yourself is also a good way to do it. It just takes time. But if you do flashcards, and by flashcards, here's what I mean. Okay? You just take an index card, all right? And on that index card, you put two numbers down, or a hand, an ace and a 4. Put a line, and on top, put another number, what the dealer card is, like a king. A line across, and then an 8 and a 3. A king. Line across, underneath, 8 and a 2. A king. Line across, underneath, 7 and 2. For all kind of different combinations. And I just was dealing myself these flashcards of almost every possible pretty much combination of what I can have against the dealer, and I needed to make the right move every time. That's the key. Basic strategy is going to get it down to where the house has, like I said, 30 cent on 100, maybe 50 cents on 100 edge on you. You will win 99 out of every 200 hands, okay? Playing perfect basic strategy. But you can't deviate from it. You can't say, wait, the guy next to me, you can't think that, wait, I hit my 16. The perfect basic says don't hit my 16. Don't hit my 16. And 5 times in a row, you don't hit your 16, okay? And you lose. And then you're like, you know what? Next time I am going to hit my 16. You know what? I am going to hit it. And you hit your 16, you get a 3. And you're like, damn, see, I trusted my gut and I won. Can't never do that. Never, never, never deviate until you learn to count. So, well, a double deck, Keith, doesn't offer surrender. I haven't played anywhere where double deck offers surrender. I mean, I played pretty much in different states, different countries, and I've never found a double deck game where they allow me to surrender. Now, even a lot of 6 deck games don't allow it. So don't even, the 6 deck, I'm going to teach you the surrender, obviously, because it's going to matter with counting a lot. That's one of those that some of you guys that are only going to be able to play 6 deck, you're going to want to know to do that. You're going to want to know when you surrender. But for double deck, it's not something you're going to have to focus on because the bottom line is with double deck, they don't offer it. I wish they did. I mean, that would have been bomb. If anyone finds anyone where they allow it, let us know. Let us know. We'll fly in and play that game for sure. Now, this is something you're going to have to really practice on your own. Yeah, William, great point. William said, do you recommend practicing these with online casinos, no money? Absolutely, because you're going to be able to do faster there. Yeah, but no money online. And you're not going to care about the deck composition because you're not counting. So you don't even need that whether they're actually dealing 2 decks or actually dealing 6 decks, or whether they're doing continuous shuffle, or whether they're just dealing 50 decks to you. So you don't even care. The only thing you care about is practicing your basic strategy. And if you got to get that down, I'm telling you, there's nothing more important than proper basic. They used to keep those little cards in the gift shop, and you could even bring them to you at the table. Here, so you understand. Here's my phone. Okay, you're gonna laugh. I have this on my phone. Okay, I keep this as my screen. I make it my home screen when I'm at the casino. Just because every once in a while, you'll just freeze. I'll be like, wait, ace 3 against a 2. Do I double that, or do I just, oh, wait, I just hit it. You know what I mean? But just because so much is going on around you, I've done this for so long, and I still sometimes will take a peek at it because you want to play perfect every time. This is the best play mathematically every time without counting. Without counting, this is the best play every single time. And that's exactly what I do. I put it on as my home screen, and I leave it there. I keep it in my pocket. I'll pull it. I'll say, oh, hold on. And I'll pull it out and act like the text came in. And what I'm really doing is looking at what do I do on this hand? And like I said, most decisions are very simple. Against a dealer's 7, 8, 9, 10 ace, you're always going to hit. The only question is, are you going to double? Are you going to double? That's pretty much it. And as you look through your perfect basic, yeah, that's William, that's the move. And now what I do, because I go with my girl, is she'll keep it on her phone. Like if I'm playing, I'll keep it on her phone. If she's playing, I'll keep it on my phone. And she'll know that I want her phone, because I'll be like, let me use your phone. And give me it so I can look at it, because I got a decision to make. Because sometimes you have a big bet out there, man, you want to make sure. You want to make sure. And no matter how long you do this, there's going to be times under the lights, under the pressure, where you're going to be like, shit. Believe me, no matter how long you do this, you're going to sometimes question your decision, and you're going to go back when the game's over, and you're going to look and be like, did I do the right thing? Did I do the right thing? Willie, that's a great tattoo. If you could do it, put the basic strategy tattoo on you. That would be the shit, bro. That would be amazing. But I'm telling you, that cuts the house edge down to almost nothing. It isn't nothing, but it's very close to nothing. And that's why they don't carry those cards in most gift shops anymore like they used to. People used to have them with them at the table. And what's funny is I remember even when they had it with them at the table, they would still not follow it. They would still follow their gut so many times. Like they'd be like, no, I'm gonna hit it anyway, or I'm gonna split it, or I'll double him down anyway. Can't do it. This is the mathematical best play possible to bring the house edge down to 0.3 on double deck, to 0.5 on 6 deck. And again, then it's whether they could hit 17 or not hit 17. Unless you're playing high limit, they're almost always going to hit 17. Okay? So focus on the dealer hit soft 17 first. Learn that. Learn that. Because I don't think many of you are going to be jumping in the high limit right away when you're counting cards. You're going to want to start at smaller tables till you get it down to a science. So study the dealer hits soft 17 card. And if you're at a place where you're going to only be playing 6 deck, only learn 6 deck. Focus on 6 deck. Master 6 deck. I'm going to teach you how to beat 6 deck. If it's on, if you could play double deck too, then obviously learn the double deck mostly, because you mostly want to be doing double deck for sure. Even as a counter, you want to mostly be doing double deck. The amount you have to spread is less. The variance of ups and downs are a lot less. But the most important thing to get out of this first class is I need you guys in between this week and next to study perfect basic strategy so we could get to the next phase. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you the percentages. This is the exact percentage, okay, that the dealers win based on the cards that they're showing, their face card, the top card, okay? Like this would be, this is the down card, this is the top card. Based on what they're showing, okay, this is the amount of percentage of hands they're going to win. This is the percentage of them busting, okay? When they're showing a 2, there's only a 35% chance they're going to bust. With a dealer 2, only 35% chance they're going to bust. A dealer 3, there's a 37% chance they're going to bust. 37% chance. But if a dealer's showing a 4, there's a 40% chance they're going to bust. 40%. When the dealer's showing a 5, there's a 42% chance the dealer's going to bust. 42% chance. When they're showing a 6, 42% chance they're going to bust. So you'll pick that up right away. The 3 worst cards for the dealer, 4, 5, and 6. They have a 40% and higher chance of busting if they're showing a 4, 5, or 6. Those are the worst cards for the dealer. You'll see it gets better for them. A 7, they're showing a 7, only 26% chance. An 8, 24% chance. A 9, 23% chance. A 10, 23% chance, the same as a 9. And by 10, I mean a 10, a jack, a queen, a king, or a king. 10, jack, queen, or king. An ace, only 17% chance of breaking. So you see an ace, only 17% chance of breaking. So only 1 out of 5 times, less than 1 out of 5 times are they going to bust. With a 10, about 1 out of 4 almost. A 9 or 10, 8, 9, or 10, close to 1 out of 4 times. That's it. That's all they're going to bust. What you're looking for is 4, 5, or 6. 4, 5, or 6 are the best. That is the best for you as the player. No. That's, John, that's just for the house. That's just for the house based on what they have. Because for you, you're going to be getting 2 cards. You're going to be getting 2 cards. They're only going to be showing their 1 top card. So based on their top card, what they're showing, this is the percentage they're going to bust, that they have a bust underneath. Or when they play it out, they're going to bust. When you're playing basic strategy, you're always going to assume the dealer's got a 10 underneath, okay? You're always going to play your hand as if the dealer has a 10 under there. Because that's the most cards that are in the deck are the 10. You have 10s, jack, queens, kings. So there's 4 of those. And if you got 4 of each, so you got 16. And if you got 6 decks, you got 96 of those out of the 6 decks. Okay? So this is definitely what you want to learn. I can't say it enough. You got to master perfect basic strategy. This, again, you're going to be doing it over the next few weeks, but start taking it in. Start taking it in. Start learning proper basic strategy so we can move on. Because then I'm going to teach you how to find the right games. And again, the way you're going to find the right games, I'm going to tell you right now. You can write this down real quickly. Game selection comes down to 3 things, okay? Number of decks, because remember, 2 decks, edge is less than 6 deck. So number of decks is the first thing you want to focus on to select. Number 2, the best rules. Can I double after my split? That adds 0.13% to your favor. Can I resplit aces? That adds 0.06. 0.06 added to you. Can I surrender? Okay, am I able to surrender? Again, that's only for 6 deck. Okay, now for the house, the rules that help the house. Dealer hits a soft 17. That's worth 0.20% to the house. So they're expecting to make 20 cents out of every 100 just because they hit soft 17. All right. No resplitting. You know, you get 2 8s, you get dealt another 8. There's some places you can't split 3 times. That's it. There's only double splitting. And then no soft double. There's some places with no soft double. That adds another 0.11% to the house. And finally, doubling only after 10 and 11. Now, I played, it was in Oklahoma, where they only said you can only double 10 and 11 at this one casino. I was like, we're done. Like, we're not playing. There's no way. That adds a 0.25% edge to the house. So if I'm playing 6-deck, which was all they had was 6-deck, and immediately they have a 0.5% edge, then they hit soft 17, so they have a 0.7% edge. Now, if they could, if I could only double 10 and 11, that's another 0.25. Now they have over a 1% edge on me. My count's only going to give me so much of an edge. Those kind of games, I'm not even playing. So number of decks is the first thing you're looking at. You want to try to play double deck. If you can't, you go to 6-deck. That's fine. It's just as beatable. You just have to, the bet size will be different. And like I said, there will be a little more roller coaster. But if you bet sports, you're fine with that. And finally, penetration. And by penetration, that simply means where they put the cut card. How many decks do they deal? Now, with basic strategy, you don't care. It doesn't matter. But when you're counting, that does matter. Where they put this cut card is going to matter when we get to counting. And I'm going to give you the percentages. Because real quickly, just so you understand, okay? On double, if you're playing 6-deck, okay, and you're spreading 1x to 20x, which is what you need to do to beat 6 decks the best way. So your smallest bet is $10, your max bet is $200, 1x to 20x, okay? Out of 6 decks, if they put the cut card 2 decks back to where they're only letting you play 4 decks, so 67% of the deck, you'll make about $14 an hour, let's say, all right? If they put it back a little further where you're playing 1.5 decks, so 75% of 6, you're playing 4.5, they're letting you play 4.5 of the 6 decks. Now that $14 an hour profit turns into $17 an hour. If they let you go 5 decks in, and there's places that will deal 5 decks out of the 6, okay, that's 83% of the stack. That $14 turns into $21 an hour. So you will make 50% more money by them placing this cut card back further. When we get to counting, I'm going to teach you ways to get the dealer to do that for you, to move that cut card back for you. There's certain things you can say, there's certain things you can do that's going to make him want to give you more of the shoe, okay? Now, in some places, they already have, when you'll see when they put the cards like this, they'll have a space on the shoe that shows them they have to put the cut card here, okay? When it's automatic like that, there's nothing you could do. And those places usually have it 2 decks in. So they usually only deal about 67%. You could easily know that by sitting behind the table. Don't sit down and just count. Just count the number of cards. You know, there's 52 cards in a deck, right? If it's 6 decks, you know there's 312 cards. And see when and every card that comes out, count it and see when they shuffle. Do they shuffle with 104 cards left? If they shuffle with 104 cards left, you know they're cutting 2 decks in. If it's, 77, 78 cards left, then you're like, wait, they're cutting one, they're giving me 4.5 decks. If they're giving you, leaving only 52 cards left in there, then you know, wow, they're dealing me 5 out of 6 decks. So that's key. That's key. But that's later. That's for when we're counting. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm so excited to teach you guys how to gain the edges and really crush the game, but you got to learn this first. This is the most important thing of this class that I needed you to get. Number one, you needed to understand that you're going to be able to play double deck or 6-deck, and the rules are going to matter. You need to know which rules are advantageous to the player. I'll go over them one more time. You want to be able to double after you split. You want to be able to resplit your aces. And then for 6-deck, you want to be able to surrender. Those are the most advantageous for the player. The stuff you want to stay away from. No resplitting. No soft doubling. That means if you have an ace-5, ace-4, ace-3, you can't double. There's some houses that don't let you do that. And when you can only double a 9, 10, or 11, or a 10 and an 11, some only do. You want to stay away from those games. Definitely the one where you can't soft double and you can only double 10 and 11. You don't want to play those games. You stay away from those games. Those games you don't want to even try to beat. Not even when you're just doing basic strategy, you don't even want that. It's going to eat into your average. It's going to eat into your comps. You don't want to do that. Okay? So for right now, that's what you want to focus on. In double deck, I gave you the 6 deck numbers. Here it is in double deck. Okay? If they're dealing 67%, that's 70 cards. Okay? 70 cards. That's a fair game. If they're dealing you 70 cards, that's a fair game. If they're dealing 75% of the double deck, then they're dealing you 78 cards. You should count 78. Okay? And that means they have left, because remember, 52 and 52 is 104. So that means they have 26 cards left. They should have 26 cards left. Or the best game is if they're dealing 80% of the double deck. That means they're dealing 83 out of 104. If they're dealing 83 out of 104, where there's only 21 left in the dealer's hand, that's the best game you could possibly play. But we're not willing to play less than 70. With double deck, you will not play a game unless they're dealing 70 or more cards. If they're not dealing you 70 or more cards, walk away. Because you're going to have to bet size so huge to beat, even with a count, that you're going to get thrown out anyway. I'm showing you to beat double deck, you only have to go with 1x to 10x. And to beat 6 deck, you're only going to have to bet from 1x to 20x. Okay? I go for max profit. There's some guys out there that are going to say, oh, you want to go from 1 to 6, 1 to 8 in double deck? Hell no. I'm going for max profit. I'm going to bust them. And they'll say, oh, go from 1x to 10x from 6 deck. No way. Your edge is this small. You want to be able to go 1x to 20x. I'm going to teach you how to crush games, not just how to beat games. We crush games. I destroy games. I don't go in there to just beat the game. I go in there to smash the game. So I'm going to play 1x to 10x on double deck, 1x to 20x on 6 deck. But that's for card counting. Right now, we can't count cards until we learn proper basic strategy. We need to know the right move every time with no mistake. That brings the house edge down to what I said, 0.3% and 0.5% for 6 deck. 0.3% for double deck, 0.5% for 6 deck. That's with proper basic strategy. And then remember, if the dealer hits soft 17, we add 0.2 to that. So more times than not, you're going to be playing a double deck game where they have a 0.5% edge, 50 cents on every 100 they expect to make, and a 0.7% edge in 6 deck. You'll be able to beat that, but you don't want to get above that 1%. That's why those other rules, you don't want to do it. But the hits off 17, we can't outrun that. Unless you're playing high limit, $100 hand, then you will. Because a lot of $100 hand places are obviously, they know the player wants the most advantageous stuff. They want to be able to, they want the dealer not to hit his soft 17. Okay? So those are things that you need to focus on. Now, there's no chance, great question, Neil, do they print the rules out? Nope, you got to just ask the question. You got to ask the question, and you just got to ask. You just got to ask. Whether they hit soft 17 or not, it's going to be on the felt. If you look at the felt that I have on this table, it says dealer must draw to 16 and stand on all 17s. Okay? You see that? This is the best table right here. This is the best felt. If you could find this felt, this is the felt you want. The dealer stands on all 17s. Soft 17, hard 17. This is the table you want to look for. Blackjack has to pay 3 to 2. We don't play 6 to 5. We will play 0 6 to 5 tables. Even if you see a single deck game, which is the most beatable. But it's not beatable because Blackjack pays 6 to 5. So they destroyed single deck. Don't even look at single deck. They destroyed it. It used to be the fairest game, the best game, the game you could crush. No longer in existence. But there's a ton of great double deck games. There's a ton of great 6-deck games because the mentality of the house is no one could beat 6 decks. Bro, if you could beat 1 deck, you could beat 2 decks. If you could beat 2 decks, you could beat 6 decks. You could beat 6 decks, you could beat 8 decks. The count's going to beat them all because the count's the same for all of them. The only difference is the bet size. That's what I'm going to teach you. That's the only thing that's going to change. Your bet sizing, which I'm going to help you master because I've mastered it, and your deviation from basic when you're going to break your rule. Now, great question, John. What money amount tables are best to start out? Here's the good and the bad of that. You want to start out at the smallest tables, but those are the most packed. Okay? The $5 tables are the most packed. If you go on a Friday night to any casino that has $5 tables, they're all going to be packed because most people want to play small money. Most of you guys are going to get the most play in when you get up to the $25 level. And by $25 at double deck, you're going to have to go 25 to 250. $25 6 deck, you're going to have to go 25 to 500. So most aren't funded for that. So that's okay. That's why most of you are going to play at $5, $10 tables. Because with 6 deck, you're only going to have to go from 10 to 200. With double deck, you're going to have to go to from $10 to 100. So you'll find $10 tables that are pretty empty. I find them all the time. Me and my girl found, because when you're counting, you're not going to want to show off. You're going to want to, most of the time, the house is going to have the edge. Remember that. So you're going to want to play your least bets when the house has the edge. So I look, even if I'm playing in my head at $100 level, if I'm willing to spread from 100 to 2,000, 1x to 20x, or if I'm playing double deck, 1x to 10x, if I'm in my head playing 100 to 1,000, I'm looking for a $15 table. Because if I can play $15 on all the hands that the house has the edge, and then when I have the edge, start playing it as if it's a $100 table, that's when you do your max damage. We will get to that when we count cards. But most of you are going to have to start out at small stakes. So what that means is go at different times. Don't go to Vegas on Friday night. Go at Monday afternoon. Go Sunday afternoon. Go Tuesday afternoon. Go to times when people are at dinner. You will find empty tables even at smaller minimums. You don't have to jump to the $100 tables. You don't have to get into the $25 tables just to be able to beat the game. I promise you that. I promise you that. You could beat the $5 game. You could beat the $10 game. The money becomes irrelevant. The only thing that's going to happen is the amount you're going to have to spread and the bankroll you're going to have. And I'm going to teach you my secret. I'm going to give you the risk of ruin for all bankrolls. You're going to decide what your risk of ruin is. Just like with sports, you're going to be able to say, this is what my risk of ruin is with blackjack. I'm going to double my bank this amount of times. I'm going to lose it this amount of times. You will get that from this course. I promise you that. And you will learn to count 1 deck, 2 decks, 6 decks, 8 decks. It won't matter. The problem with 8 deck is the hole's like a little higher than 6 deck, and the rules are less advantageous too. So you want to avoid 8 deck if all possible. I played it in Atlantic City. I didn't enjoy it. It wasn't a game that I enjoyed, I'll be honest with you. I liked double deck the most. Felt the most comfortable double deck. Make the most money on 6 deck. You make the most money on 6 deck because you're betting the most. There you go.
Yeah, you can go to percent right here.
Oh, sorry.
Percent right here. Down.
Boom. That's your 4 things. Thank you. Good move. Yeah, you should have that. You should have that for sure. Those are the 4 things you need to do in order. You need to do these in order. Surrender, split, double, hit, or stand. Remember, surrender is only for 6 deck. If you're not playing 6 deck, you go to the next. Split, double, hit, or stand. Now, you're probably going to learn them the opposite way. Meaning when you're looking at your perfect basic strategy, always start practicing the easiest stuff first. And then move to the soft hands, the ace 2, ace 3, ace 4, ace 5. And then move to, obviously, the what am I doubling? What am I splitting? Oh, great question. Ron asked, what about free bet blackjack? All those deviations of blackjack are not blackjack. Stay away from all of those. All of those. The no loss. There's so many. Those are higher hold for the house. Stay away from those. Stay away from those. Just like you're not going to play any continuous shuffle games. Wherever you see continuous shuffle machines. And what I mean by continuous shuffle is not this. This is this just shuffles it. This is the automatic shuffle. This is fine. If anything, this just makes it quicker for the dealer to get us our cards. That's perfectly fine. We don't mind that. We don't mind that at all. Because that's all that's going to do is get us our cards faster. He's going to deal faster. So we don't mind that. We don't mind this. What we do mind is continuous shuffle. And that's those machines that they have right here. It's like this gray thing. And what they do is when they pick out the cards, instead of putting them in the discard tray, they stuff them back into the machine. So you never know how many decks you're playing. You can't count it because there's no discard tray. They're just continuously shuffling. And that's how they kick you out in Atlantic City. In fact, that's how they kicked me out of Atlantic City. They just continuously shuffled on me. What I mean is because they're not allowed to kick you out of Atlantic City. Ken Houston back in the 70s and 80s was one of the best advantage players there were. He started teams and all that stuff. He was on 60 Minutes. Anyway, he went to the Supreme Court to sue Atlantic City for kicking him out. And he won. He is the only human being that's ever beaten the casino for kicking out card counters. And they said in Atlantic City, if you deal to one person, you got to deal to everybody. So you can't you can't kick them out. So here's what Atlantic City did to me. Once they realized I was an advantage player, they did this. They dealt a hand, and then they took the cards away, and they said, shuffle. And they just shuffled, took their time, dealer shuffling, took his time, went like this, broke the cards up, took his time. Then he went like this to me, said, cut it. Dealt another hand, just one hand. And then he said, oh, shuffle. The pit bulls would come over and yell, shuffle. And they would just shuffle it. They'd deal a hand to me and shuffle. Deal a hand to me and shuffle. Deal a hand and shuffle. Until I just said, dude, this is ridiculous. He got up and left. Because they know, dude, you're an advantage player. We don't want you playing here. We can't kick you out. So we're just going to make it impossible for you to win. And that's what they do. They are allowed to flat bet you. So if you're ever in Atlantic City and they flat bet you, legally you can't do anything about it. By flat betting, they're legally allowed to say you can only bet $50 a hand. You can only bet $100. You can't go higher than that. And they know no card counter in their right mind is ever going to play a game. You can't increase your bet. So places like that, you don't want to fight them. You just want to get out of there. You want to get out of there without letting them take a picture of you. That's the key. That's number one. I'll teach you that later. You never go in the back room with anybody. You never let them take pictures of you. I'll go through all of the stuff that I had to go through. I've been back room. I've had security. I've had it all that happened to me. That's why I'm going to be able to teach you what to do, what not to do. But and all that will be prepared. Trust me, I got my girl helping. We'll have everything in here for you guys. I didn't want to waste a lot of time on this first class. Because the bottom line is this is what you got to learn first. And this is what I talked about in the steam room for the last 2 weeks. Start brushing up on your proper basic strategy. Proper double deck. Proper 6 deck. And there you go. We want to go where they hit soft 17. That's 6 deck hit soft 17. And that's double deck hits soft 17, because that's what I've been playing mostly. I'd say 90% of the time, I'm simply doing, double deck with they got to hit soft 17. Even in a lot of the high limit pits, you hit soft 17. Now, again, if you see one like this is the perfect felt, that's why I brought the perfect felt. This is what you want to look for. If you could get this felt, then you found the best game possible. But you'll be able to hit soft 17. Just remember, their edge is now 0.2. They expect to make 20 cents out of every 100 more than they were prior. And more importantly, what you wanted to make sure you do is always the right move. Never trust your gut. Never worry about what the guy next to you is doing. Never worry about, well, I keep doing the right thing, but I'm losing. In the long run, those balance out. These are mathematically the best choices you could possibly make. That's the bottom line. And if you looked at the course description, number 1, intro to blackjack. Number 2, perfect basic strategy for double deck and 6-deck. This is the class to knock out those 2 things. Intro, I hope all of you understand how to play the game. Like I said, you could go online. There's a million places that'll deal you a free game without having to put money up, so you could practice. There's on your phone. There's so many games that you could play blackjack. And just remember, don't worry about how many decks there are. Just make it in your mind, I'm playing 6-deck or I'm playing double deck, and play the rules accordingly. Play the rules accordingly, because next we're going to go over the multiple card counting systems that you can use. The one that I've used and had the most success with, trust me, I've tried, in my career, I've tried 3 different ones. I've tried a level 1, a level 2, and a level 3 count. I'm going to teach you the one that works best, and I'm going to teach you the proper bankroll requirement in the next class. And then we're going to go into bet sizing, money management, risk of ruin. I'm going to teach you camouflage. I'm going to teach you solo play and team play. I'm going to teach you how to use comps, how to take advantage of comps, and the legalities that you're going to have to face, and some of the secrets that will help you get away with it. But the thing you have to lose now is, number 1, learn proper basic strategy. And also, if you're going to be playing at the casino with proper basic strategy, here's what you want to do. Make sure you get rated, okay? This means when they ask you if you want a player card, say yes. You're not counting cards. You're not doing anything wrong. If anything, you want them to see that you're just playing regular, okay? So you want to get a rating, all right? So you want to do that, you get one of those player cards. When you sit down, you hand them your ID and your player card. They're going to put you in the system, and what they're going to do is every hour or so, they're going to punch in what your average bet is. And based on your average bet is the comps you're going to receive. So what you're going to do before you leave the table, okay? You're going to say, I'm done playing. You played, let's say, 2 hours. You're going to say color up. That means I'm done. They color up your chips, to higher denominations. If you're playing $5 table and you got 300, they're going to take the 5s and they're going to give you 3 black chips. So you can go to the cage and cash out 300. Before you leave, okay, you are going to ask the pit boss, what are you putting me in for average hand? He's going to look at you like, wait, this guy knows the game. Because the only reason you're going to ask that is because you have a host, number 1, or you understand the comp game. And the comp game is the higher the average hand, the better the comps. So you definitely never want to walk away from the table, especially when you're just playing basic strategy, perfect basic, without asking, what is my average? What are you putting me in for average? And if he says, oh, $10, say, dude, come on, I bet $50 so many times. You aren't even looking. Or can you say, come on, last time the last guy cheated me. Say I was averaging $50 bets and they put me in. I found out the next week for $10. Say, could you hook me?
it costs them nothing to hook you. They'll always bump up your average bet. Always, always, always. Unless you're an asshole, they will always bump it up. I've gotten a dude to bump up what should have been a $100 average hand to $500 average hand. I made him laugh so much, dude, that he's like, "Fuck it, I'll put you in for 500." I was like, "Please, dude, please. I've been buried. I'm like, I can barely afford a ride home. I'm like, at least get my average up, at least so I can come back here. They could at least get me a free trip back. Please help me." Like, don't be shy with that shit. They love it. They love it because they feel like they're powerful. Like they get to determine what your average hand's going to be. No. You're not. No. You're always, because great question. Great question. Yes. Would that tip off the pit boss that you might be an advantage player? No. Because if you're an advantage player, you don't even want to get comp. You don't want your name in the system. See, I'm going to teach you how to get away with it by getting comp. All right? Because that's the red flag. That's if once you start playing higher stakes, if you don't get comp, they know you're counting cards. If you go into a high limit pit and you're playing $100 a hand and you don't want comps, they know there's a problem. Because who the hell's playing $100 a hand and wants to pay for their room, wants to pay for their food, wants to pay for their flight? Nobody does. And if you know you're playing $100, $200, $300 a hand, you can get all that shit. You can get free food, free rooms for you, your friends. You can get free show tickets, free sport in events. You can get all that stuff. So if they see you're in a high limit pit that you don't want to, you're in a lot of trouble. Okay. In fact, that happened last February in Tampa. Me and my girl went to high limit at the Hard Rock. I knew my name is burnt. My name's burnt down. I wanted to spend 4 days there, 5 days with her, and I did not want to get kicked out. I said, "You're going to play." Make a long story short, they wanted my info. I was like, "Dude, I don't want to comp." And they're like, I said, "I don't want to comp." I said, "Anytime I try to get comp, I have to pump up my rating. I have to give hours, and that costs me money." I said, "The last time I tried to get a free room, it cost me $4,000. I'd rather pay for my room." That's what I was saying. So that's how I tried to get out of it. By saying, "Dude, I don't want to comp. Every time I get free shit, it costs me money." Because to get free shit, you need hours too. You can't, it's not just average hand, it's hours. Because that's how they multiply it. They'll say, "Okay, he plays $25 a hand, and he only played for half hour." That's nothing. You could bet 1,000 a hand, but if you play for 30 minutes, you ain't going to get no comps. The guy that plays $25 a hand and plays for 10 hours is going to get more comps than the guy playing $100 a hand that plays for 1 hour. Or even $1,000 a hand and plays for 30 minutes. That guy's getting nothing. They want average hand and hours. That's how comps are determined. So the way I get out of it when I am counting, and I don't want to give my name now, I say, "Dude, I'm not going to be playing long." And I don't. I play 4 sessions now. So that's how I'm able to get away with it. And now I told my girl, so she plays now anyway. Yeah, Council Oaks Steakhouse, baby. That's a great place. I love the Hard Rock. Very beatable place. Good game. Like I said, the only question I had was I didn't want to comp. That brought the freaking sirens off. I had to stay an extra day just to get my money out. They didn't want to let me exchange my chips for my cash until they proved that I was playing, saw tape. It was just a big headache. So that's why I'm saying, if you're playing high limit, unfortunately, you're going to have to get comp unless you're playing short sessions. And you're like, "Dude, I'm only playing 20 minutes. I don't even want to fuck up my average. Say, I'm only playing an hour. I don't want to ruin my average. I have a good average. I don't want to ruin it." Like, that's one of the ways to get out of it. Yeah, I had a great time there. Yeah, the sportsbook's small, but it's decent, though. I didn't have to wait long. They have all the kiosks, too. I had a great time at Hard Rock. We made money at sports and blackjack. It was good. Like I said, the only problem I had was getting my money out at the end. Because of that, I didn't give them my name I did play. I got to be honest. And I used that excuse that I'm not going to play long. I'm not playing long. And that also that anytime I get comp, it buries me. That I have to put in 4 hours. So my host gives me a comp and I don't want to play freaking 4 hours because maybe I don't want to lose that much money. So better not to cause a scene. Just get the comps. They help with your average. But never walk away without making sure, damn, Dr. J's birthday was there? That's the shit. I want to go back. I want to go back there for sure. They give my girl comps there all the time. They send stuff. Because like I said, we played high limit, had a good average hand, ended up winning as well. And that time I didn't even pay. I paid for the room actually. Like I went already booked. Like, and then we developed comps after and shit. But I was paying for everything there. So now they just keep sending her stuff. But you don't walk away from the table. Don't walk away without asking, what is my average? What's my average? And always try to bump that up. Because you want to get comps. You want to get free shit, especially when you're just playing basic strategy. And even when you're counting, you could get away with it. I'm going to teach you ways to get away with it. Why not? Load up them comps. Just don't get too crazy with them. That kind of what I did in my first run at card counting, where I was getting penthouses and tickets to everything. And then they realized I was an advantage player, and that really pissed them off. Like, not only did you take us for chips, but we gave you a bunch of free shit too. That tends to piss them off a lot. But if what you're doing is playing just perfect basic, you want to make sure you get comps. That's going to offset your losses many times. You get a nice enough room, you get your food or RFB covered, trust me. And always try to get a casino host. Always try to get a host, because a host's going to stick up for you too. Like, hosts get money, make money off your play. So always try to find, who's my host? Go to the host office. Go to, every casino has a VIP section. Say, I want to introduce myself to the host. Introduce yourself to the host. Get their card. I'm telling you, you could just call them, ask for shit, and a lot of times they give it to you. Obviously, now everyone's a number. They put your number in and see. But if you have that relationship one-on-one, believe me, if when you get called later counting, they go to bat for you as well. Yeah, Nathan, always for craps. That's the best too. If you're, if you're playing craps, if you're playing other games, that's what I do. We'll get to that with cover. I do that for cover now. I play 30 minutes of craps. I'll tell you what I do. I play a little craps and make sure I get some cover so I look like a gambler. That's the stuff that I have to do now if I'm actually taking a blackjack trip. But we're not there yet. You don't have to worry about that yet. This class was so we could meet each other. We could get our introduction to blackjack, and you could realize that proper basic strategy is the secret that they don't talk about, that eliminates the house edge to its smallest. Every time you deviate, you increase their edge. Every time you're supposed to stand but you hit, you increase their edge. Every time you don't double when you should have, you increase their edge. Every time you don't split when you should have, you increase that edge. You want their edge to be its minimal. And the only way to do that is perfect basic strategy every single time. Never deviate from it. That's the one takeaway I wanted you to get here. And more importantly, I want to make sure you practice that. It's not hard, I'm telling you, bro. Most of you are smarter than me. Have more schooling than me. If I could learn it, anybody could learn it. Like I said, there's only a few things that aren't common sense. Like, where you're going to have to remember, like I said, some of the soft hands, like, wait, do I double my ace-4 against a 3? Do I double my ace-5 against a 2? Do I, like, things like that. Do I split my 4s against the 7? Because that's 8. If I get a 10, I got 18, right? I'm thinking he's got 17. So it's just little things like that that you're going to have to remember, okay? But you will be able to memorize that card. And if you play enough, it's going to become like breathing, like counting is for me. I could count, like I said, no matter what, I'm not bragging. I could count down 3 tables. Right now, the shape I'm in, I could count down 2 tables. Meaning I could stand behind 2 tables, counting both down. There was a time I was counting down 3 tables. When I was ace, the license plate, absolutely. When I was playing with a team, like to play on Anthony Curtis's team, you got to be able to count down 3 tables. You have to stand behind 3 tables. And when he asks you what's the count on table 1, table 2, table 3, you got to know to count on all 3 of them. While ordering a drink, while he's coming up and talking to you and asking you what that score is, like, you got to be able to count down 3 tables. Stand in a position where you could count down 3 tables. Right now, that would take some practice even for me. I'm just being honest. But I could still right now go to any casino and count down 2 tables. Stand in between and keep count of 2 different tables. And for team play and 6 deck, you're going to want to learn to do that. I don't want to scare you. I don't want to get out ahead of myself. The biggest takeaway is know what the rules are. Remember, double after split, resplit aces. Those are the key for us. And we're hoping for stand on soft 17. That adds a 0.2% to us instead of the house. We want them to not hit their soft 17, but it's almost really not available in most places, so don't sweat that. But you want to at least be able to double after you split, and you want to be able to resplit your aces. You want to be able to do that. And on 6 deck, you want surrender. You want surrender. Because when you count, that's going to really add to your average per hour profit, being able to surrender. And you want to stay away from no resplitting, no soft doubles, and double only 10 and 11. So make sure you wrote those down. If anyone needs me to repeat them, let me know before we go. You know how to find the right games. There's 3 rules: number of decks, best rules, penetration. We'll get and by penetration, how many of the 6 decks are they dealing? How many of the 2 decks are they dealing? We want a minimum of 67%. So in 6 decks, we need them to deal at least 4. In double deck, we need them to deal at least 70 of the 104 cards. That's the minimum we're willing to play. You learned something today, right now, that it honestly, even just with basic strategy, you could go and break even just with your comps. Just with comps, by doing this, you could break even without even the count. The count's going to make you damage, and the bet size is going to make you destroy them, because I'm going to teach you how to drop bombs on them. But master this, I promise you. Just this alone. This alone. I thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And I promise you, when we're done this course, every single one of you will know everything I know about the game. You will be a master at Advantage Blackjack, and the only difference is how much you put into it. Are you willing to learn it? Learn it means play it, play it, play it, play it, live it, live it, live it. You won't have to buy any books because everybody keeps out their secrets. That's why I've been told, you want to write a book? No, I don't want to write a book because I'm not going to, nobody's going to tell all the little shit. I read them all. Trust me. I'm telling you to save your money. To save your money. There's like 1 or 2 that are decent, maybe. But I don't even say that. Like, it's save your money. Because everything I'm teaching you, I learned from trial and working with Advantage guys. Like guys that, like I said, Hall of Famers, Blackjack Hall of Famers. Guys that, go to the Blackjack Ball every year here in Vegas and shit. So you're going to learn everything to walk with those men. That much I promise you. And remember, the last thing, the order of decisions. Am I in 6 deck? Do I surrender? After that, is it a pair? Do I split? Do I double down? And then do I hit or stand? That's it. That's it. Those are the only decisions you're going to make. But just like chess, there may be a million different moves, but there's a right move based on what your opponent did. For every move in chess, there's a right move based on what your opponent does. The blackjack is the same thing. Based on what your opponent, and your opponent's the house, based on what they do, meaning what they have, their deal, you have a right move to make. You're going to make one of those 4 choices. And those 4 choices, you make the right one every single time, you will beat the house. I promise you that. Just with what you will learn here tonight, just this. Perfect basic strategy, never deviate from it, and find fair games, which is those rules, And I'm going to keep repeating this because when we get to card counting, this will be repeated. This will be repeated. I could have finished this in 10 minutes by saying, spend the next week learning nothing but proper basic strategy. Learn it, like tattoo it on yourself. Do it when you wake up. Do it when you get home. Deal yourself. Have your friends deal you. Have your wife deal you. Have your kids deal you. Just make a game of it. Make flashcards if that's easier. If you need it to visually. Everybody learns differently. However you need to learn it, learn it. But make sure that if I tell you I'm showing a 5, you got a 9, what do? You say double. You know to double right away. You don't even have to think about it. You know I'm doubling my 9. You're showing a 5, I'm doubling. You know that right away. That's what I need you to get to where you are instantaneously knowing, oh, ace 2 against a 5, this is what I do. You need to get to that point, and now you have exactly the blueprint to do that, and what games are going to look for, and the penetration. You want the penetration. The reason I'm telling you now for penetration, if you go to the casino, is so you can start learning to scout that out. Again, for proper basic, it doesn't make a difference. Okay? But when we start counting next week, it's going to make a difference. The penetration. So you want 67%. And remember, 52 cards in every deck. If it's 6 decks, 6 times 52, and then times 67%. Double deck, the same thing, like I told you. Make sure they deal at least 70 cards. The best is 83 or more. And that's it. That's it. Jeff, that's the best word. That's the best word, brother. Yeah, Nathan, we are coming down to meet you tomorrow, brother, because Thursday, Friday, it's going to be crazy. You know that. Tomorrow I have UFC podcast, but we are coming down to meet you, my man. I appreciate you coming out to Vegas, and I would love to do it for Thursday or Friday, but I don't want to commit and then have shit come up with all the games going off. You know, like someone that has to do the games, be sick, something like that with the guys I work with, and miss meeting you. So I definitely want to meet you and while you're here. So remember, there's no such thing as hot or cold dealers. Dealer just deals you the cards. Don't ever get mad at the dealer. No matter who's behind there, it doesn't matter unless they're helping you. Unless they're helping you. Don't tip. Don't tip. You don't tip. Only at the end of play if you want to tip a little bit. Only tip if they're helping you. Or later when I tell you how to try to, a little camouflage. Because card counters don't tip. They're the cheapest people on the planet. So I'm going to teach you a few things. A few things. And John, all of you, like I said, when you get out here, all of you guys that took this class, every single one that takes this class, if you come out here, you let me know when you're coming. As long as I'm in town and I'm here 90+% of the year, if not more than that, I will meet you. I will stand behind you, critique your play, take you to lunch, tell you where I think you could improve, tell you where I think you're strongest. And yeah, I love it. I love it. Like I said, if I could only do this, this is all I would do. Some of you guys are young enough. Some of you guys don't have families that I'm telling you, I know there's going to be at least, there's about 30 people in this class. I would say there's going to be at least 3 to 5 of you that are going to do like I did and are going to want to actually do this. Like, we'll travel to do it. We'll get in your cars. We'll go to Louisiana and drive down from, New Orleans all the way down and hit all those casinos. Or there's casinos everywhere now. I know there's a handful of you guys that are going to see the advantage in it, see the money you can make doing it, and the fun that it is doing it, and actually going to go on the road and do some damage. But as long as you guys are ready, we're good to go. Please, 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 if you're going to be playing double deck, learn the double deck card more than anything else. If you're going to play 6 deck, learn the 6 deck more than anything else. If you want to be a master, learn both. And always keep them on your phone. Keep them on your phone. You may be chilling somewhere, having a break, pull it up, boom. It's on your phone, you're good to go. So I love you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your trust in me. You will not be disappointed. Like I said, every single one of you will leave this course knowing exactly what everyone else knows. No one's going to be left behind. Don't be shy about asking any questions. This isn't shit you were born knowing. You are learning this, and you will learn it the right way. But I can't take you to the next step until you learn the first step. You got to crawl before you walk. And this is the first step. Perfect basic strategy with 0 deviations and the right game. The right game. I love you guys. Good practice this week. You got 6-7 days to practice. I know there's March Madness. Take Thursday, take a couple, in between the games. Play while the game's going on. Practice, deal yourself. Have someone else deal you. It's fun. It's blackjack. Play with your friends. Practice. I'm telling you, stick to that. And don't forget, ask for your comps. Ask what your average hand is so you take advantage of that. And anything else, make sure you think of any questions, have them written down for next class, and we'll do this again. I love you guys. Best of luck through March Madness. I'm excited for what's coming up over the next couple of days. I know you guys are subscribers, so let's do some freaking damage, guys. Love you. Enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you. Thank you, Neil, Bruno, John, Nathan, all you guys, Brent, Jeff, all of you. Greatly appreciate you, boys. Be safe.